conversation is over.
Do you like parties?
Yeah.
We can invite all our friends and have soda and pie.
Yeah!
I hope no bad people show up.
The white boy is back, and you know he could never be right. The white boy is back. The white boy is back, with the spread up in your ass crack. The white boy is back, 'cause you know he's the white boy. The white boy is back, and you know that he never smoked crack. The white boy is back, 'cause you know he's the white boy. Yeah!
What up, what up, what up, Quarantine Life people? This is your host for today's Quarantine Life, April 29th, 2020. I am your host, Mike, from the Wort Podcast with Mike, Pete, and Steve. What's going on, everybody? And if I don't mention Graz as being an integral part of the show, he will get upset. And I'm sure he's going to bash me on his show tomorrow night at 9 o'clock here on GovsRadio.com. We are currently streaming on, of course, GovsRadio.com, on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube page. So if any point in time this all goes straight to hell, then you guys can go ahead and jump over to one of those things. That's fine with me. So I'm trying to do something that I don't normally do, and anyone that knows me knows that I do absolutely hate the old Facebook, right? I hate Facebook, for people that know me as an integral part of GovsRadio.com. And so I'm starting to see if I can monitor the Facebook page here on my iPad, which is over there, not on my desktop, which is here. So I just want to say hi to everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. And, of course, to travel back, I meant to send a quick shout-out to our buddy Tony Walker, who had his 50th birthday yesterday, half a century old. And I think Sally's birthday is tomorrow, is from what I heard, if I'm not mistaken. So happy birthday to you guys. And anyone else's birthday who I may or may not have remembered, happy birthday, everybody. You guys are doing great. You look beautiful out there. So thanks a lot again for joining us, Quarantine Life, here on GovsRadio.com. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, going into this one, I had some really cool stuff prepped. I still have a variation of that ready to go for you today. The problem is, again, why I love Facebook, is that it really has some very strict copywriting issues. So anytime that we play music or we play anything or have a picture of something that's not created by us, directly by us, we tend to get little warnings saying, hey, you, don't be such a tool. So what I'm going to do today is hopefully going to show you some original stuff. I also did some cover stuff, but in my hope and goal here is that I do not get hit with any of this nonsense, because we've changed it enough that it should not come up on any radars. That's the hope and goal. And it starts with the open. When I opened the show today, I played a audio track that I basically kind of, put together myself through editing and been able to utilize that because it's different than any one track out there, and the Facebook bots can't identify any one song. Hopefully we don't get hit with any of that. Plus, I've been playing some of local artist stuff, and we will continue to grow and to learn from all of our mistakes and or good times. So, like I said, I have a couple of things for you guys today that I want to show you, and today's going to be a very technical Quarantine Life. We've had, behind the scenes, a lot of our hosts and shows have a lot of technical issues, and I thought, why not utilize Quarantine Life as a way to, I guess, help some of the hosts and maybe even some of the people out there that are doing things outside even Govs Radio, even at their homes, and they want to Zoom and they want to do all this stuff. So, me being a very technical person, I have a lot of stuff here that allows me to do these things, sometimes, even better than other people can, besides my technical background and my knowledge of audio and video equipment, which definitely helps in all this. I do have a strong background in music, where I do a lot of post-production, so I'm going to show you something today. I also want to show you what I've been doing with my time since last we spoke, and last time we got a tour of the house. So I'm back in the basement, as you can see through the image here, and I just want to kind of show you a couple things, and then we'll go into the how-to part of today's quarantine life, and how to actually do some of the things that GovsRadio has been doing behind the scenes. I'm not giving away the farm because most of the people that have been doing these shows, I've sent them this same exact content. And this content comes from online. It doesn't come from anywhere else. So, again, I'm not going to hopefully copyright any of the stuff that I show you, but it's public knowledge, and it's on YouTube, and it's on, Boxcast's website. So we'll get to that after. So first, what I'd like to do with you guys is I'd like to send you guys on a little bit of a guided meditation. Yes, you are going to get something weird from me today, something abnormal that I usually don't do. But I want to show you this really quick. So I recently got a email from a website that I am current member of as being an audio engineer. I have a resume out there, and I have a profile. It's kind of like LinkedIn, but just for audio and video people. And this woman found me and contacted me, and she's from Switzerland. And we sat down and had a really cool Zoom meeting together and talked about our thoughts and ideas for well over an hour. And her goal was that she wanted to kind of she wanted to give people kind of this guided meditation idea, but also trying to highlight how different parts of the world are looking and sounding because most of the parts of the world are in quarantine. Everyone, things locked down. I mean, things are starting to open up around the world, but, in this last, 50, 60 days, things have been much different than they were normally. So, for instance, what I have up here right now is a picture of a local canal. And it was a beautiful day, as you can see in the picture. And the thing is, on a normal, everyday life year that none of this is going on, this canal would be extremely busy. It was probably close to 60 degrees. You could see in the background, there's still a ton of boats not in the water, people up on docks. And you see, it was just, it was earlier in the morning, but that's usually when the boaters head out, right? They want to spend the day. You could see not a boat in sight out here. So it's just such a strange thing being part of a seaside village, that you see abnormal things. So that's what this woman's goal was. Veronica's goal was to kind of highlight this idea. So what I did was I actually went down to this location. I've done a few locations now. And I captured sound. I took two directional small capsule condenser microphones. I told you this would be very technical. And I basically recorded sound and how it would sound being down there for about 20 minutes. Now, I'm not going to play 20 minutes of it, but I want to kind of show you what it's like without the boats, without the people. It's very peaceful, very tranquil. And I'll let this run for a few minutes, and you guys can get a sense of that. The space and the size and all that stuff. So here's a little playback of that, and I'll be right back. Now, I'm thinking it won't mean as much to you guys until you get the full effect of it in your headphones with a screen that's full. Obviously, you guys are catching on a little bit of the sides of the laptop here. But that's the thought process. Now, picture this, just like all over the world, pictures of towns and villages and alleyways that normally will be bustling with, many, many, many people or many, many, many sounds of trucks and cars and traffic. So again, that's what the original thought was, to basically capture this very weird time that we are in right now, and how different the environment sound, how different the universe sounds at this point, because there's not as much people and traffic and all those things. I'm sure, obviously, if you go up into remote parts of the country, it's still going to sound pretty much the same. But, just a place like I showed you here, this is normally a really busy waterway. And, I would say close to 100 boats probably come in and out of this in a given morning easily. And over the course of about a half an hour time, we didn't see a single boat. Maybe there was one right at the end, and maybe there was a jet ski way out in the background. But, this is just some of the things that are out there. I went to a second location yesterday. Actually, it was a third location. But I went to another location, we'll say, yesterday. If anyone's been down to Captree, you can go down to the inlet there, the Jones Beach Inlet. Robert Moses Inlet, sorry. And walk down to the bridge, and you can walk right under the bridge. So I went down there yesterday and captured about a half an hour of sound under the bridge yesterday. And normally on a beautiful, 57, 60-degree day, that bridge would be crazy cars coming across, and underneath it, you'd hear every car, every bump, all the noise. But because it wasn't as crowded as it normally would be on a given time, what you would hear is these really cool, like, water movements, because typically they'd be drowned out by all the cars up top, because there's not as much. I got some really great sound of these fishermen. I got some really great sound of the water coming through the tower pillars. It was a really cool experience. So that's one of the things that I've been working on in our quarantine life. So some cool stuff here and there that you should check out. Eventually, when I get that up on her website, we'll post some links to it on our Facebook and my Facebook and all that other good stuff. So what else have I been working on in quarantine? Well, one of the things that I wanted to do is a live performance of, I showed you in my last quarantine life, drums. And I am by no means a good drummer whatsoever. But I've been practicing almost every single day. I do have a detached garage, which allows me to do it without my family wanting to murder me. And so I put together a little cover song, one of the songs that I grew up with. This is a band called the Early November. And the Early November's from New Jersey, and now the lead singer has a recording studio called the Lumber Yard. You can go ahead and check them out on their Instagram and then Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff. And I had a local artist that I'm friendly with whose songs I play in between breaks during our studio shows. And he actually got an opportunity to go in there and record some songs. And something came up with scheduling. He ended up going in for a day or two, but then they kind of scrapped it, and it ended up not working out. But the Early November has been around since, I'm going to say, 1997. And they've been touring here and there. They had a couple of reunion shows in 2018. They haven't put out any new music in a little bit. In fact, they actually might have put out something new recently. But this is one of their first songs on their first album, and it's always stayed with me. And it's actually a really depressing song. The title of it is I want to know that you're sad. I think that's what it is. I want to know that you're sad. But it's cool because it has these odd rhythms and different tempos. So I do want to see. So what I did really quick, I do want to see if it'll translate well to the screen here. Good, it did. All right, so here's what I did. And now I don't have a full studio to record in like I do in other places. So in quarantine life, I go up to the attic of my garage. And we did a couple of recordings. Actually, my daughter helped me out pushing the computer buttons. It's funny. She takes directions really well. So when I said hit this and hit that, we were actually used OBS to record this, one of the softwares that our hosts have been using on GovsRadio to stream. But we used the recording option instead of the stream option. And I used 2 mics here. You can see one mic up here. That's an SEX1. And it's a large capsule condenser pointed downward towards the drums. So I captured a little bit of the sound that's in here, along with obviously all the cymbals and everything. And then typically I would have a 4-channel input, but I don't have one here at the house right now. I only have a 2-channel input. So I put another microphone on the kick drum, which is down here, because the kick is another big part of a track. The rhythm of the track really comes from the kick and the snare. And so I was able to capture pretty decent snare sound up here with this microphone, and I was able to get good low-end kick on this. Now, because of that, you can hear every goddamn mistake I made playing this, but yet it still sounded pretty good. So what I did in post-production here is I videotaped it, recorded the audio, and then I matched it up with the music. So it's almost like drum karaoke, which is really what I want to do for my quarantine life today. But because of copyright rules and the mixing and all that, I couldn't do that without pre-recording it. So I pre-recorded it, and hopefully it'll translate well, and hopefully you guys can hear the song underneath. But I had to put the song really, really low, so again, we didn't get hit with a Facebook robot to hit it. And you know what? By the way, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. If for some crazy reason the robots can hear through my drums, that's awesome. Good for you, Facebook. You're the best, and I will never succumb to any of your rules and regulations again. But I think I mixed it well enough where you're not going to hear the song. It's enough that changed to the actual waveforms that the robots won't be able to pick it up. All right, so I'm going to play it for you. It's the world premiere of Mike from the Work with Mike and Pete playing I Want to Hear You Said. All right, here it is.
Strongly covered in the sky.
And there it is, the world premiere of I Want to Hear You Sad. I Want to See You Sad. I Want to Hear You Sad, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, I mean, that was a fun experience. I played that actually twice through. I played that 2 times through. I did practice it a couple of times here and there, but I want to show you something on the screen here. This is the entire project, which is kind of crazy. It's a lot of stuff. And I also had, by the way, another video that I did the 3rd time through, which was only the kick drum. I don't know if anybody watches any like drum tutorials on YouTube or anything like that, but a lot of them have like this little lower graphic showing the kick. So I think you can hear both in this. I'm not sure. Let's see what happens here. I think it's just kick, actually, now I'm thinking about it. So you're going to hear it's going to sound pretty nasty. Yeah, so it's feeding through both mics there, but that's the point, and you can kind of feel the kick and hear the kick at the same time. But to sync them up is a little bit of a pain. So I didn't have time to do that. But it'd be pretty cool, as a project down the line to, be better, because I don't think that was all that great. But it's fun, and that's what I've been, doing with my time. It's just trying to have some sort of outlet, an expressionary moment every now and then, besides running to my computer and fixing everybody's show. I've been doing fun stuff too. Trust me, guys. So, there was a bunch of different takes that we did. You could see this was the I Want to Hear You Sad, but there was another track I did, and I don't know if this one goes through, but I kept trying. Hey, look at me. And it was just terrible. I wonder if anyone knows what song this is. So there you go. There's just a quick preview of the next track that I'll try to do. By the way, Eye of the Tiger, if you didn't realize. But a punked up version, fast version. I like playing drums fast and loud and hard. I'm kind of like that. But yeah, again, it's an outlet, and it gets me through my day, and it actually gives me just a little bit of, exercise or physical activity that I may not normally get. So, just fun stuff that we've been doing, and try to involve my kids in this as well, because, what a great opportunity we have, which I normally don't have, is to kind of teach them new things. In this case, using audio and video technology to do stuff, to have fun with stuff, to record themselves. My daughter has a Chromebook she's on right now, and she likes recording herself playing the flute, and she likes recording, obviously, every kid likes TikTok. But she likes those things. So she is trying to take the technology into the areas that she enjoys herself. So just some of the things I've been working on over the last few weeks, and playing around with things. There's another project I've been working on with a local artist that we are... Hi, I'm back. But now I have echo. How cool is that? Sure. We'll turn the bus off really quick. So this, there we go. That's better. Now I'm in real time. This project I've been working on with a local artist is another cover song of a band that just came out recently, and actually didn't come out. The album just came out. So he's been working on pieces, and I've been working on pieces. And I'm not going to play much of this because this probably is not balanced, so the copyright wouldn't come out. But if anyone knows the band 4 Year Strong, another modern-day punky band, but they came out with this really nice, beautiful acoustic song. Let's see if it plays nicely.
But try to be good when I'm gone. When I'm gone.
So right there is just drums that we recorded. So we're going to start overlaying the guitars, and he and I are going to cover the vocals. And I'm going to have to use some major auto world. I want him to do some major post-processing on my voice, like this. Hey! This is pitch control. And then I'm going to add some echo so I don't sound as terrible. All right. Well, we'll leave this on here now so you can still hear me. But yeah, I mean, these are just some of the things I've been working on. And anyone that's on GovsRadio staff knows the program Logic, and I use it extensively for a lot of this recording and soul processing. It's not the only program I use. I use Pro Tools as well. But this one is a good one. I'm going to go over to my other project. There I am. Hi. So, again, just some things working at home. I'm a very technological-based guy. Been working on stuff for class and school, so I do all my Zoom lessons, and then I post it up on YouTube. And it's basically the same setup where you guys can hear my voice clear as day. So fun stuff out there. So let's take that as the first half hour of, hey, how you doing? I got some stuff that I've been doing. And let's talk a little bit about technology, shall we? I want to show a couple of people, whoever is working on this, that there are ways that you can get Zoom, OBS, and there's a ton of content out there, and people have been doing new ones all the time. So, this one was just updated a day ago, and this is from one of my subscriptions that I go to, Stream Geeks, who are really good at that. I've sent out this one to people to stream live. I've sent this one out to a lot of people. One of the things that has been lacking in some of the projects, besides the obvious technological streaming issues in the background, is this idea of connecting audio correctly. And so this video actually does a really great job.
All right, what's up, guys?
Shut up. Anyway, does a really good job at coming up with answers to questions like, why isn't my audio working correctly, and what's going on with this, and what's happening with that. He did a great job, but he uses a remote camera, so it's kind of not as good as what we're doing now. Rich Rada and I can't think of freaking what's his face. They did a show yesterday, and obviously there was some problems, which there always is for people who have not really been used to this technology before. So let me just open up OBS for a second. I want to show you a few things. The first thing is I have an audio interface external. So right away on most of our shows, my voice sounds much clearer than anyone else's voice coming through Zoom. So what I did was I went out and I got a software package for a Mac. It's called Loopback. And so Loopback actually allows me to virtually route signals within my computer. So if I wanted Zoom to route into my input, all I have to do is set that up and set up another audio capture device. Now this audio capture device then becomes Loopback. That is the, where is it? Properties. And there it is, Loopback Audio. So I'm able through this program to send Zoom signals into its own channel in OBS. So both my audio and Zoom audio comes into OBS and sends out streaming wise. So yeah, I mean, it could pose a problem for people who don't have a Mac, right? And it could also pose a problem for people who don't know what virtual routing is and get confused with all this spaghetti, as we call it in the industry, and what it's doing. So it does take a learning curve, and obviously I've been doing this for a long time. As you saw in a lot of my programs and stuff like that, there's a lot going on. So I'm used to seeing that spaghetti. So I guess it comes to the point where you're going to have to get used to looking at all the spaghetti and figure out what the spaghetti does. So that's how on our show and in Limo Talk that I've been working on actually projects decent audio. And then I'm able to use these faders to balance it. Like if I'm too loud in the mix, I'll pull this down, or I'll pull them down because they're too loud, or whatever the case may be. It's all about signal chaining. So, signal flow. So you got to kind of watch where the source is, follow it along the path, and find out where it's leaving and how it all looks. The other problem people are having is with window capture, right? So as they're adding their window capture in OBS, they're not resizing their window here. So what we have to do, and I'll open up the Safari window that I had open before, which had the YouTube video in there, and I got to find it here. Where the hell is it? Window. I don't know where the hell it is. Where the hell is my window? Is it in a list? Am I not through the list? Let me open it. Now, will it come up? I don't know. Forky asked a question. Is it magical? No, it's not magical. And yes, look, it is. Boom. So there we go. We got my window capture, right? But there's parts of it that are cut off, and you can see by the gray bars on each side that there are pieces missing. So what I do before the show, obviously, before I hit record or stream or anything like that, is I'll resize this, and then I'll position it so you don't have to see other parts. Like, who wants to see the address bar? Or in Zoom, who wants to see, the participant, or you want to see the record or the sharing thing? You don't want to see all that. That's kind of, unnecessary at this point. The other thing is, and you know what, I'll actually start a Zoom thing here, which will be fun. Let's see how much this screws up my my thing here. I'll just new meeting, and hey, you're bleh. So there's my meeting, right? So we'll add a brand new window capture here, and we'll call it blah, 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 and then we'll go ahead and we'll connect to it. And there it is. How about that? Now, again, look, see, I need to resize this. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this down, and I'm going to cut off, this little area up here where the maximize window features are. And then I'm also going to try to attempt to get rid of that bottom piece there. And so now, basically, you only have picture. And yes, there is some letterboxing going on here on the left and the right. That's what we call in industry, letterboxing. And that's fine. But when you actually get into a Zoom meeting that has multiple people, the background actually turns black, and it matches this letterboxing color, so it doesn't look like it's part of it. And the individual windows here will start floating around. And to get them to be in the right position, you should try to adjust your Zoom window. So how you arrange this window in the gallery view changes the positioning of where it is in here. So you can see I reduced and changed the size in Zoom. I can make it much bigger. And in OBS now I have to readjust it. So it does take some back and forth. And if you guys are watching any of the Limo Talk shows or the work shows, you'll see that in the middle of it, if people join in or new people come in or old people go out, I'll go in and I'll resize this to make it the best looking. I'll usually go by, if it's 4 people, obviously I'd crop it to 2 by 2. If it's 5 people, I'll go 3 at top, 2 on the bottom, and then I'll come over here in OBS and resize the window to match. Again, trying to get rid of the bottom bar and trying to get rid of the top bar. All right. Now, again, the biggest problem people are having is audio. And today I was watching Knock 'em Dead Comedy, or Chick Chat, with Eric and Danielle. And their audio both sounded great. So, again, because I'm set up the way I am, a little more professionally, I can't see what you guys are doing. And unfortunately, I can't be at your house to tech it. So what I want, or what I'm trying to do, is find out the perfect way for people that are using laptops or PCs, because I don't have a PC, and people that are, using the app or whatever else it is you guys are doing. Everything has its own set of settings that needs to be changed. So one thing that I want to recommend for anyone that's worried about audio is these settings here. And I know, Rich, if you're watching or you want to watch it later, for me, because I have an audio interface, I'm using the input microphone, which is what I have here. And then I'm having output happen through my speakers here. But to be honest with you, because I changed the operating system settings, my headphones and your feed right now into my phone is working nice. So you can see, like, for instance, I'm using the Broadcaster app today, and I actually set my phone up on this little mount, and I actually have this little device here. It's called an iRig that we used to use in the studio to filter the voice or the sound out of my computer and directly into the application. So that's why you guys are getting this, pretty good recorded sound, and you can hear the music from the laptop and all that other good stuff. So that's how I set it up today. It's a little different than my normal setup, but that's because I needed the laptop to show some of this stuff. So since I'm using the laptop and I can't screen share while broadcasting in OBS, I had to go to a different device to stream it. And so what's weird is right now I got my picture up here, I got my picture on my phone, and then I have a picture of the stream on Facebook. And I think I can't see the comments in Facebook. I apologize. And I'm not making that up, I promise, because I have an old iPad mini, and it's using an old version of, let's see, save video, hide post. I want to see, nope, I can't see the comments. I would love to see comments. That would be awesome. But I can't see, anything that I would want to see on Facebook, so whatever. Again, don't really care. Just wanted to make sure we were actually up and running. So yeah, Rich, or anybody else having trouble with audio, check out your settings here. This is a big deal. And if you go into audio settings, they're going to see something a little more probably manageable. It actually gives you the idea of maybe test speaker. So I'm going to turn this down so you can test how people are hearing tone. Ooh, that's magic. And since it's coming out of my speakers here, you're not going to hear it in the feed. But if I change this over to my Scarlett, now you're going to be able to hear it a lot louder. See, now it's, so that's part of, being able to know how to route your audio from place to place. And so I'm going to just change it back because I need it for limo talk tonight. You got to kind of get a sense of the bearing of how your computer is processing audio in and then processing the audio as it goes out. And as it comes out, how's it getting over to OBS? So it starts here in Zoom because this is where technically your meeting is happening. This is where your audio is being generated, right? From your microphone that you have locally or the speaker on your laptop. And then the output of where it's coming out of. Is it coming out of the speakers of your laptop? Is it going out of into another device or whatever it might be? It doesn't matter. So then how do you pick that up in OBS? How do you pick up the audio properly from OBS into, from out of Zoom into OBS? See, it's just so much. Even I get confused and slow down a little bit here. So let me just drop this down for a moment. And we'll go over to OBS for a second here. Here we go. And there I am again. Hi. And since I resized my image a few million times already, I'm going to go ahead and just go back in and resize it again and make sure I'm cutting off the crap that doesn't need to be there. And there you go. And the other thing is, I don't know if you guys are doing this either, but, a lot of times you can use graphics to hide things. So, for instance, and I don't know if I have my graphic here. Nope, not there. Let's see, I got my lower thirds over here somewhere. So I make lower thirds, like in television. I have a news programming background. I used to work for News 55, and I did all the graphics for News 55. And so I tend to be able to just be able to whip up some quick graphics. So again, this is Live at Noble Savage, it's an old one. I got to grab the PNG here. There it is. So what I do is you could see the bar down here on Zoom starting to show up down here at the bottom of OBS, as you could see. So, as I resize it and figure I don't want to cut anybody off, what I'll do is I'll use a graphic down here to kind of hide any of the, issues I might be having with cropping things and getting rid of unwanted information. So now you can see that I can kind of go like that, and now you won't see the bar. Even when I come over here to that, the bar is still hidden. It's there, but I'm hiding it with graphics. So you can kind of play around with that too. And by the way, this was just built in Photoshop. It's just a background cut to the exact dimensions of the width, and then I did a little crop out for our logo. So I won't propagandize my show too much here. I'm just going to get rid of that. But again, you're just trying to get it so it looks good on screen. And picture it this way, guys. If you're seeing this screen here just like this, and you can see the edges, this is what the people out there are going to see. So if you leave it like this, this is what the people out there are going to see. You have to, every so often, monitor OBS while you're in your Zoom meeting. The other thing is, and I don't know if anyone has seen the improvement in video quality online, but OBS came out with 3 different updates since the pandemic, and since then, there's no more glitching of the video. It was definitely an OBS issue that was pulling video in from Zoom, and it was glitching because of, we'll say, encoding issues. We'll leave it at that, as simple as possible. And, you can go ahead and get the most recent copy of OBS on their website, which I always recommend you do, because then you can get rid of all that glitching. But this is kind of an easy way to set this up. And then again, once you have your video set up, then you got to worry about your audio. And like I said, a lot of what I do here is going to be different than what you do there. So your input capture for your audio could look a little different. Mine is through loopback, but depending on what you guys are using, whether it be the built-in microphone or whether you're using another type of loopback program, or you're using audio from Zoom just through the speaker of this room. I know, like I said, Danielle and Eric were using their thing today, and I think Danielle just leaves the speaker of her laptop on, and the speaker is actually picking up Eric's voice. Eric has a headphone with the mouthpiece thing, whatever you call that thing now, from your iPod headphones, and he speaks directly into that. So he's clear in her room. I might be mistaken on how she's actually setting up the audio, but I'm pretty sure it's just natural loopback from speaker to microphone. So you guys can go check that out, or contact Eric or Danielle via Facebook and find out exactly what her setup is, because I think she's hosting it. She's the one that's OBSing. That sounds terrible. I apologize. But that's it. I mean, you guys, at this point, you have to have OBS as your streaming source. So let me get you over to Magical Boxcast and show you a little bit behind the scenes. Now, by no means am I telling anybody to do any of this on their own. Do not do this on your own, but be aware of what's going on in the background. And by the way, Limo Talks tomorrow night, not tonight. I don't know what I was thinking. So Three's Company's coming up tonight at 7:20. I programmed all this in with the dates, the titles, the graphics, the times, the schedule. That's what I do in the background. But let's just take a look at one of these and just show you what happens. So over here on the right-hand side, there's something called Source. It's right there. And then I have to choose how they're going to be broadcasting. Now, they've elected to use OBS, which is great. Sounds great. They do a great job with it. And so that's basically how I have to have that going into their show. I can't change this without deleting the entire broadcast and resetting up in the background. Next, where is it going? As people may or may not know, Boxcast is, I don't want to use professional terms, but it's a routing system. So we send signals to Boxcast, and Boxcast sends it out to Facebook, YouTube, and our homepage. Our homepage is always part of this. It always will be in the loop. That's why a lot of people have found that when they don't have it set up right, or when they screwed up their broadcast, it goes to the GovsRadio.com homepage, but it's not on Facebook or YouTube. That's because I have to actually program in the connection to Facebook and YouTube manually for every single show. So if you screw it up, then I have to go back in and reprogram the whole thing. So that's basically how the Boxcast is working. Please, again, do not go back and try to schedule your own show. That's going to get very confusing and screw up a lot of different things. But that's pretty much what's going on. So when I start the stream over here in OBS, when I hit start streaming, here's how it works. And a lot of questions are out there, and so I thought I'd take this time to answer some of those questions. When I hit start streaming, the minute I hit start streaming, you're going to see a little green box down here letting you know that you are now streaming. So immediately the signal leaves your computer, your Wi-Fi, and your internet, goes out to Boxcast, and Boxcast starts recording. Now, from there, Boxcast will then ship it out to the three places: GovsRadio, Facebook, and our YouTube page. All right. That time from Boxcast to those three places takes roughly around 2 minutes. So the thing is, if you hit record and you sit there and wait 2 minutes, that's 2 minutes you are on the air. You're just talking about a delay. You're not losing any information. I actually just had this conversation with Sally, but I've had this conversation for months and even more than that now. The minute you hit stream, whether you're in Wirecast back at the studio or in OBS here at home, and even in your broadcaster app, same thing. The minute you get confirmation you're streaming, whether in OBS it's the green box, in Boxcaster it says you're streaming, and in Wirecast you'll know because it's green. The minute you hit that, know that it is out there at that exact time that it said it was going. If you wait 2 minutes, you're going to have 2 minutes of you at the beginning of your show just staring at something. Don't do that. Just know that these are the checks and balances that are going on in the background. A green box on OBS means you're gone. So the minute you see that green box, hit play, hit record, hit whatever else you need to do, and start your show. If things do get screwed up, we'll probably find out. When we go back to normal, I probably won't find out, but we'll be in the studio, so it'll be a little easier. But that's the thing, like it takes 2 minutes to go from Boxcast to the other 3 places. You didn't lose those 2 minutes at all. You didn't lose them. It's in a 2-minute delay. Kind of like in radio, where I don't know if you ever realized, but if you watch a Met game and then you listen to the Met game on the radio, they're happening at different times. There's a delay. There's always a delay in live streaming. So you got, and if you watch any of the news, right, the reporters go, "Oh, how you doing out there?" And then it's like, "I'm doing great, John. Thanks a lot for having me on." It does take time, so there is always a delay. Understand that in the industry, even with live television and radio and now streaming, everything's delayed. So you just got to be, really confident that everything's set up in the background, that you said you were using OBS and that I set it up as OBS, or you said you were using Broadcaster and I set it up as Broadcaster. If you say you were using OBS and I set it up as Broadcaster, either it's your fault or it's my fault, but most likely it's your fault. Because I take a lot of time every week to make sure the programming is right. I look at every source. I look at every destination. Tony knows this, but I'm constantly asking him for the Facebook code to log in because my browser on this laptop doesn't save anything. I put it like that because I don't want any history on this laptop because it's technically not mine. So with that said, the only thing left to really worry about here in OBS is your audio. And I said earlier, it's a difficult thing to find out how each person is dealing with their audio. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. So you're going to have to kind of figure out what your inputs and outputs of your computer is throughout that time. All right. Listen, any questions anyone has, I know Tony sent out that email when we first started Quarantine Life that I would not be answering questions, but obviously within the first few days, that all went to straight shit. So do me a favor. If you have any questions about your personal show or anything else that's going on GovsRadio.com, technically, email me. It's WortGovsMike, WortGovs, Mike@gmail.com. Listen, thanks everyone for checking it out. I know I saw a lot of people up there. Sorry, my iPad is old and can't get the comments like I wanted to. People could have posted some questions while we were going through this, but again, if you have any questions, I'll just leave that up for my email if you want to take part in that. Appreciate it. What do we got coming up tonight? As you saw on the schedule, Three's Company is starting, I believe, at 8 o'clock. Was that the right one? Let's just make sure I got this right. Upcoming broadcast today, we've got Three's Company coming up at 7:30. See, I was wrong. 7:30 to roughly around 8:30, 8:45. And then coming up at 9 o'clock, Punk Rap. MJ is going to be talking to you and hanging out with you for a little bit. Tomorrow, don't forget about Knock 'em Dead Comedy starting at 11 with Tony and Sally on a Thursday. And Quarantine Life, I'm not exactly sure who's doing it tomorrow. I did look at the schedule before, but I totally forgot now. And then, of course, Soul Space, I talked to my girl, Georgia, and I think we worked out all her technical issues. And then join myself and, of course, your hostess with the mostest, Anthony Grazide for Limo Talk tomorrow starting at 9 o'clock. Appreciate, again, everyone's time, and thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Later.